We're joined now by Jeremy Saland, who used to serve as an assistant district attorney in Manhattan. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Just explain how difficult it is, and you believe it will be, to find a jury that is impartial and not biased.
Well, I think the response by all those jurors somewhat speaks for itself, right? If you have so many jurors who just by default are saying, I'm out, that demonstrates it's going to be incredibly difficult. And it's an incredibly difficult job, just not for those prospective jurors, because they maybe feel that they're going to be subject to overly oversight or ridicule by the former president, or opinions in politics. The prosecutors and the defense attorney and the judge too really have to make a concerted effort to vet these people. And that's going to take so much time. It's going to be really, really long process.
I mean, just so that people can understand, 80% of people in Manhattan voted for the other guy. So actually, I was shocked that only 50% of people, to be honest, sort of put their hand up and said, look, I'm really sorry. I know who he is. I've read the tabloids for the last few decades. Whatever it is that they decide means that they can't be impartial about this decision. I was surprised by the numbers. Are you surprised by the fact that the judge didn't, as perhaps they would do in an ordinary trial, just say to these people, look, you're a smart person. You can look at the evidence. You can sort of take your own views out of this, listen to my instruction and carry on, or not even a consideration in this case?
Yeah, I think here you have to err on the side of caution. I think you really have to see this as an overly politicized, and it really pulls on people's hearts, some really adversely and some love him, for lack of a better way to describe it. But the last thing you want, if you really believe in justice, no matter whether you're wearing blue or red glasses, you have to look at this and say, he is no less, he's entitled, no less than you or me or anyone, to proof beyond a reasonable doubt and due process. So it's so important that you have the jury that's able to do that. It's not worth putting on a juror who claim that they will and they won't. So I think the judge did a good job, even if it takes a longer time, to say, you know what, we're just going to let you go to another, sit on another trial, sit on another jury. We can't have that here. I think that's a smart move.
How much of an advantage do you think it is that Trump's defense, the former president's defense, has years of testing how he flies with people all over the country, but specifically in New York as well? They've done this in order to see how he polls with people and what people react to positively, what they react to negatively. Just when you're trying to suss out, to your point, those that might say, hey, I don't have any bias here, or indeed perhaps I'm a Republican and I'm potentially going to be someone that the defense could use, and actually is the opposite. I think you would say a Manchurian candidate. That was in your notes, and I thought that was a good example.
I did refer to that. You don't want a Manchurian candidate. And remember, under law in the United States, all it is one juror, one, and that would hang and cause a mistrial. So all they need is one juror, the defense, to say this isn't accurate, it's not fair. And then the reality of it is, if that juror doesn't go along, is the prosecution going to actually take this up a second time? So, again, Donald Trump's team has a work cut out for him, and certain things are going to really blow up in his face. If he were to testify, for example, I think that would be a colossal mistake. He'd alienate the jury. He'd have issues with the judge. He certainly could roll the dice here and ultimately open himself or expose himself to further crime or make admissions. But at the same time, look at Michael Cohen, look at Stormy Daniels. These people have very real baggage as to their credibility. So, that fairness is so critical, that willingness to say, I'll set it aside. And it's hard because you think, would I do that? And hopefully enough people will do that. Not hopefully, in fact, they better do that. So Donald Trump gets a fair trial, whether you love him or you hate him.
Yeah, and this is the crucial point. Both sides get 10 strikes where they can say, look, we just don't want this person. We don't have to explain. But they also have this ability to make an application for cause where they explain something that the person has said, why we think this makes them biased, or despite the fact that they think they cannot be, why we want them out. So that sort of adds time to this process. How long do you think it takes to get the 18, the 12 plus the 6 potential substitutes that are required for this jury to go ahead and for this trial to go ahead?
Yeah, those 10 preemptory challenges will be used, no doubt, as well as what you just described as a challenge for cause, if they're going to be biased and not listen or something along those lines. It's not measured in hours or days. It's measured in a week or 2 weeks or more, because it's going to be really arduous, as we keep on saying, to find those jurors. And I think that they're going to be in real time trying to vet them and say, let me look at social media. Let me see how they interact. Because once these defense team and the prosecution starts asking the questions, it's not going to be bland. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you not agree? It's an interaction, understanding. Will they follow the law? Will they stand up for their beliefs? Will they work well with other jurors? Will they listen to the evidence? It is really a difficult task in this case, more so than any other case probably ever in the history of New York. Yeah,
it's so important, to your point, to get a fair trial, because the danger is then an appeal comes back to this process, so they have to get it right. Great to chat to you, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Former Manhattan Assistant District Attorney there, Jeremy Saland.